Let's talk about writing and data journalism. So this is about writing your project. If you recall back to the beginning of the semester, we took a look at this, right? Is that the larger question is, what do you want to answer? And will the data help you answer that question? Because the bottom line is to create a good story, right? So we have data, we filter the data, we see what's there, we visualize it, helps us understand what the story might mean, what the data will tell us, and we produce a good, compelling story. Because without the story, we really just have a bunch of data. So here's some questions we need to answer. Does the issue make for a compelling story? So overall, what we're looking at, is it interesting? Is it compelling for our readers? Is there a good reason to do this story now? So is it timely? Will the audience care about this story? And what will it take to get this story done? So interviews, how much time is it going to take? And that might be of particular importance to us right now because of our unusual situation. So, and then where will you publish it? Now, you don't have to publish for this class, although I highly encourage you to consider getting the story published, particularly if it's timely, if it's something that we might be interested in within the next few weeks, few months. And do consider not only potentially your hometown paper, but the University Star or something like that. So let's take a look at a project. This is actually a project that won an award from the Investigative Reporters and Editors in 2018, the Force Report. 5 years, 72,677 documents, every local police department in New Jersey. We built the most comprehensive statewide database of police use of force in the U.S. So in a nutshell, that's what this project is. Although it is long and has many pieces, that is it in a nutshell. We like to explain to readers what we did, how we did it, and just make it easy for them to get a grasp on this. So in this project, they have an area called About, right? So the Force Report, a 16-month investigation by NJ Advanced Media, so New Jersey Advanced Media, found New Jersey's system for tracking police force is broken, with no statewide collection or analysis of data, little oversight by state officials, and no standard practices among the local departments. 2 decades ago, officials envisioned a centralized database that would flag potentially dangerous cops for scrutiny, but that database was never created. So we built it. So this is a pretty short explanation of this is what this project is, and we built a database to give you the information. So this, farther down that page after About, it's like what we found. And so it's broken out into these bite-sized chunks. One of the things that's really important to consider in any of the journalism, really any of the content we're producing, is make it easy for the reader to consume. Help them to get through it instead of just stringing together thousands upon thousands of words, right? Give us a little bit of a roadmap to get there. So why the system is broken, major findings, right? This over on the side, all of these various stories, and there were many. So in major findings, they explain the process. It's really important to explain to people what you did in your project to get there. Why? Because your readers need to trust you. They need to trust that you used a good method to come up with this result. So in an unprecedented undertaking, the news organization filed 506 public record requests and collected 72,677 use of force reports. They covered every municipal police department and the state police from 2012 through 2016, the most recent year of data available. The results are now available at nj.com/force. It is the most comprehensive statewide database of police force ever created and made public in the United States. A lot packed into this paragraph. And in this case, using specific numbers really helps add that credibility. 506 police records or public records requests, 72,677 use of force reports. Now in journalism, sometimes we like to round and say about this. We like those numbers because people can get their head around them. But at other times, you make that determination that this specific number will help bring credibility to what we're doing. And because we know data often lags behind, this is from 2012 to 2016, the most recent year data was available. So that helps us understand why a story written in 2018 is using the most recent data being from 2016, because we know data lags, so let's put that right out there and explain it to people. Then we have the concept, if you remember from reading the Houston book, is that sometimes one number is the best way to go when you're writing at the top of the story, right? So sometimes you'll have a few more, and you may have no numbers. We'll look at that too. But let's take a look at this lead. Encounters between police and suspects turned violent more than 40,000 times over 5 years, according to an NJ Advanced Media investigation. So that more than 40,000 times in 5 years, arguably two numbers, but 40,000 times, it's fine to round that number. We're trying to make a point. There's a lot of these. And then a short followed by a very short sentence. That's more than 20 times a day on average. This kind of writing, we do this because we want to add emphasis to this second sentence that's short. Right now, we could have put it in the lead, but it really draws attention when we say that's more than 20 times a day on average. And then the next paragraph. But the tens of thousands of people who had force used against them, each incident was one of the most memorable moments of their lives, leaving behind criminal charges, physical injuries, and lingering psychological problems. So in these 3 paragraphs, we take you from, here's this huge amount of data that we got. It's this context, if that's more than 20 times a day. And now you know we're going to tell you about the people who are actually affected by this, right? The people behind this story. So 3 paragraphs, and you know what this story is going to give you. Now, this is an interesting actual visualization, right? So this is a visualization, and if you click on this, and you can go check it out yourself, each one of these dots represents a use of force incident. So explore the 17,369 officers who used force in New Jersey. So each one of these dots is a use of force incident and represents an officer, and the red ones and the yellow ones represent officers who had a lot of use of force reports. So not an easy to understand visual when you first look at it. It's just kind of cool. But then this is the kind of thing that when we have time, we often create this sort of thing that just lets people explore. So we will look at all of these areas coming up. We're going to be talking about leads, the explanation you write for your data, the data explanation, and about attribution. So that's up in the next mini lecture.